Um, so I decided to go forward with a different way of doing this by putting the requests and encryption and all that stuff done on the client side with an add-on. So I've been putting together, it's called Domain Service Account Tools, and it's been put together as an add-on. So we have Domain Service Account Tools, and first you have two options of being able to manage your service accounts, and then you have Manage Domain User Tokens. Service accounts are set up through the Google Developers Console. So if you were to go to your Google Developers Console logged in, first you're going to do is you're going to create a project, and we're going to call this test service account. There we go. Go ahead and we'll create it. And give it a few seconds while it's creating it. Shouldn't take too long. And what these service accounts do is it lets you act on behalf of users inside of your domain. Alright, here it is. So the test service account has been created, and what we're going to want to do is go to APIs and Auth. We're going to go to Credentials. We're going to create a new client ID, and what we're going to do is click Service Account right here and create client ID. And give it a second here, and it's generating a new service account. Alright, so what it generated was a private public key pair for encrypting and decrypting. It holds on to the public key, and you hold on to the private one. And I see you can download it right there. So okay, got it. So the first thing we need to do to be able to work with these domain service account tools is we need to convert the key and extract the RSA key. And we're going to do that using OpenSSL. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up a command prompt. Here, I got a command prompt right here. And browse to wherever it downloaded. So for me, that would be C drive, users, me, downloads. And let's see. It's downloaded as a P12 right there. So there you see test service count, and then you'll see the 490ED75. That's the thumbprint. That's your certificate thumbprint. So you can like figure out which one goes to this specific one. All right. So what we're going to do is we need to extract this, and we're going to use OpenSSL. If you're on a Linux, Mac, you have OpenSSL already built in. If you're on a Windows PC, you just have to Google it and download it. It's a pretty painless installation. So what we're going to do is we're going to use OpenSSL. And the format we're going to work with is PKCS12. And we're saying the in file is going to be test service account ACs. Let's see what it's. Yeah, test service count right there. I like autocomplete there. And we're going to say is out. We're going to call this test service count PEM. And we're going to specify nodes is what we're going to pull out of it. And it's going to ask for the password. Anything coming from Google, the password is not a secret. Mac verified. Okay, so now you'll see that I have my test service count.pem. But we need to take this one step further. Is we need to actually extract the RSA key out of this. So to do this, now we're going to do the OpenSSL command again. We're going to specify we're working with the RSA in, and it's TSA. TSA.pem, is our in, and our out is going to be test service account RSA.key. Writing RSA key. So now what we can do is we can do type temp service account RSA key, and you can see right there, that's the key that we need. It's where it says begin. It needs to say begin RSA private key right there. This is the kind of key that we need. Alright, so now what we need to do is we need to go to our admin console. Well, let's see. One second. I'm just going to pull up that key in Notepad. Documents, downloads, and let's see. And I'm going to just grab it here in Notepad. You won't see it yet, but I'll drag it over to that monitor so you can see it. Alright, you can see right there I have the key. It's kind of sitting off screen, so when we need it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to our admin console. I already have it open. Log in as your domain admin, and you're going to go over here to security and click show more, advanced settings, and right here where it says manage API client access. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to authorize our service count on our domain, and it's limited by the scopes that we add here. So what we're going to do is we need to add here the client ID. So we're going to go back to your developer's console. We're going to see right here client ID. Go ahead and copy that. Go back to your admin console. That's the client ID that it's looking for, and then you want to add the scopes. And this is going to be what you want this service account authorized to access. And this makes it so you just can't access everything that's in your Google domain. So you can just put lots of different scopes in there, but probably for security you probably want a few different service accounts to handle different types of data, just so you don't get one big monolithic powerful service count in case something bad happens. So we're going to do a little test on here, and I'll just grab this scope here. This is the scope for Google Drive for read-write access. I'll just go ahead and paste that in there. So we have our client ID and our scope that we want. We can click authorize, and now that new new service count is authorized on our domain with the scope of Drive read-write access. Alright, so now let's go back to our domain. This is our spreadsheet with the add-on on there with domain service count tools. So we're going to click on add-ons, domain service count tools, manage service counts, and we're going to add a service count. And first it's going to ask for a friendly name. We're going to call this test service count. Now it's going to ask for the service count email. Again, this is from the console over here for email address. Make sure you use the email address and not the client ID. Copy that. Oh, we don't need the admin console anymore. That's all done. Let's go over here, service count. Paste that in there. And remember, we authorized it with the scope of Drive read write. Whatever you select on these selected scopes under this add service count window has to match the scopes that you gave it in the admin console. If they don't match, you won't be able to use those extra scopes. You won't be able to use the service count. They have to match, or else you'll get an error. All right, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your private key, the one that we extracted with OpenSSL. Come here, And I'm going to just paste it in. And that's in there. So, yes, you are putting your private key in here, but what you're going to do is you are actually going to encrypt the private key. And the private key is only unencrypted during that moment that it actually is using it to create the JWT. So let's give it a password to encrypt this. And the encryption uses an AES-256 coming from the Crypto.js library. Alright, and we can click Save Key. Okay, so that key is now saved. And so if you want to look over here under Service Accounts, you can say there's another option of Edit Service Account. It's going to pull them up, and it's going to say, oh, I see 2 service accounts right here. So the one that we just put in was Test SA. And this has all the settings right here. Under here, you'll be able to, if you want to change the key of the service account, so if you went through the developer's console and you generate a new P12 key for to get a new certificate and private key and public key pair, you can paste that in here, and then you'll be able to change the password on there. Or if you want to keep the same key and change the password that you have set that encrypts your private key, you can change that here also. So we can click right here, change the key. So it's going to say what was the old password that you used to encrypt the key. I'll give that, and the new one is going to be, it's going to ask for the new password to encrypt the key. And click Save Changes. All changes are saved. Okay. Alright, so it shows you can go in through and change the scopes if you need to change scopes. You want to change the key if you want to paste in a new key, or if you just want to change the password, you can do all that through here with the Edit Service Account. Add-ons, you now could manage service accounts. You can actually remove a service account. And simple, you just select it from the list and click Delete, and that'll remove that service account. Alright, so the interesting thing, the thing that we actually want to do, is to be able to request tokens for our users. So if we go under Add-ons, now with our service account set up, Manage Domain User Tokens, we have a couple different options right now. We have Request Single User Token, Request Multiple User Tokens, and Refresh User Tokens. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to request a single user token. And what we're going to do is, if you just need a one-off token that you're going to use for a specific reason, you can just use that here. And let's use a good account here, 8test. So 8test at my domain. And we're going to use the test service account that we just created. And we're going to put in the password that we have that we have to put in the password that's encrypting our private key. And we're going to click Request Token. Okay, token successfully granted. And if you look under here, there's a tab down here, User Tokens. Aha! Alright, so I had a little junk data in here. So it found it right here and put it down here. So let me just, cool thing about spreadsheets, you just move stuff around. Alright, so this is where it did. It put it right here under the user token tab. It shows you the user account, the service account name that you used it, and I have an account ID right here that I use for reference. Here's the actual access token right here. This is an OAuth 2 token. And then right here, the time stamp of when this token will expire. And then right here it shows whether this is a valid or expired token. And right now it's showing that it is a valid token. So just to kind of so you can see it again, since I had all that junk in there before, so it got pushed to the bottom, we'll do it again. And we'll do it with my own account. So that's my email. If you want to email me, don't spam me. Or do. No one ever emails me. Password security and private key. So we add our password again, and let's request a token. And there it is. It's really, really fast. And so now we have these tokens right now can be used to request anything from our Google Drive accounts, both read and write capability. So this is for a one-off, but what if you need lots of accounts at a time? So you go to Add-on, Domain Service Account Tools, Manage User Tokens, and Request Multiple User Tokens. Alright, so right here, you'll have a text box. You can either type in lots of accounts, comma separated, or we have a drop down right here. Select organizational unit to request. So we can click here, and this will pull up all the OUs that you have in your domain. So let's pull up. Let's see, just grab a random one, 2018. So the OU 2018. Click Add Users, and we'll see that the text box gets populated with lots of users right here from 2018 OU. Alright, and the service count, we're going to click the service count that we just created, the test SA, and then put our password in that is encrypting our private key, because the private key is always encrypted at rest. It's only unencrypted when it's being used, and otherwise it's always encrypted. And we're going to request tokens, and let's see how this looks. And there it goes. It's going to scroll through all those accounts. And, okay, well, that didn't highlight green, but it's a valid one. And this will show. Alright, and so now we have this list of all valid users and their service counts. So there's their access tokens right here. So each one has their individual access token, and each one will allow you to read and write to their drive. So now, you might notice that there was an error at the bottom. If you're wondering what's going on, I had an extra comma in there, which caused an error to pop up. It didn't break anything. So now the question is how to go forward with this tool. The original idea was I was going to start packing this tool full of Drive requests, Gmail requests, and calendar requests. But I think I might actually start splitting this up. So now that we have these access tokens right here. Oh, in fact, I forgot to show you one more thing. So we have, after 1 hour, these tokens are only good for 1 hour, then they're going to expire. And it shows you right here in the timestamp when it expires, and there's also epoch time. It's good for doing calculations and stuff like that, and whether it's valid or not. So when these are not valid anymore, you cannot make any requests with these tokens. These tokens are invalid, they're gone. So what we need to do is we need to update these tokens. So we can go to Add-ons, Domain Service Account Tools, Domain User Tokens, and Refresh User Tokens. And on this page we can do two things. We can either, if there's like a specific account that we want access to, you can click on it, put in the password that allows you to access your private key, and right here, refresh token of the selected user account. All you have to do is, click on the account or somewhere on the row, and click refresh token. And you'll now see that a new access token was granted, and that this timestamp is reset because this is when it's going to expire now, in 12:14 Eastern Standard Time. But that's kind of lame if you want to refresh all of them, that would take forever. So you now can go put your password in here, test1, that's what it is. And now what you can do is you can say you want to refresh all tokens of a specific service account. So what we're going to do is we drop down and click on the a test service account that we created, and we can click refresh tokens. And pretty soon you're going to see it's going to start rippling up, and all the service counts have been refreshed. So now with brand new timestamps, and if you look at the time it takes to actually do all these, 35 accounts right here, it goes from 30 to 31. So it only takes about 1 second of compute time to do all these requests, and maybe another second or two of write time. So you're not going to run into any overtime issues of trying to update a couple hundred accounts. I've done a couple hundred here, and it only takes about 3-4 seconds, about 15 seconds of total compute time. So this scales up pretty nicely. So going back to what I was talking about before, going forward with this tool, I want to know what your thoughts are on, of how this tool should be released. Would it be better to be released it just as a token generator, requester and generator and manager, or should it be a more all-inclusive package where I try to put the Drive and Gmail and other services in there, or should I split those apart? That's kind of what I'm wondering to go forward with. But this is what I have right now. If you want access to it, let me know. And there's one setup one more setup on your spreadsheet that you're going to want to work on. You want to go to spreadsheet settings. Make sure your time zone is set in here to your time zone, because that's all the expires and requests are going to go off that time zone. Location, and also recalculation. Usually it's on change, but I will have it on change every minute. And what that does is it's going to keep checking the validity of the timestamp, and when these things expire, it'll tell you that it's expired. And then that's pretty much all the setup for this. So let me know your thoughts, whether this is a tool that you'd want to use standalone, or if you'd want me to expand this out to actually include the different services in it. And thanks for watching. All right.